Hello, I haven't done a Facebook Live on my profile for a while, so I figured it might be time to drop in. And I wanted to do a little something a little bit different. I've been doing quite a lot of study and also been having my own self-reflection, doing a lot of writing, that sort of stuff. And I had an idea that I figured I'd want to share with you guys, and it's talking about your energy bucket, right? This is an analogy. It's like a story, if you like, but I want you to see it so that you can understand it and use it in your life. So I used to teach this concept with money, with finances. So in the finance realm, what it was is that I didn't come up with this, okay? Somebody else come up with this in terms of finance. But you have buckets, and in your buckets are, your everyday bills and all that type of stuff, and then there's another bucket which is your investments, and then there's another bucket which might be retirement, and then there's another bucket which might be gift giving. So you have different buckets, right? And your buckets sometimes have holes in them, and you need to fill your holes before you're able to fill up your top bucket, which then tips into the next bucket, which then tips into the next bucket. So do you get what I'm talking about? So in the finance world, we're talking about the cash flow that cash flows into your first bucket, and your holes in your bucket are like your bills and all that sort of stuff. But the bigger holes in your finance bucket are things that you're spending money on that you don't realize that you're spending money on. And they might only be small things, but it actually really adds up. So that could be like a subscription to something that you're not using anymore. It could be gym fees for a gym that you don't go to. It could be anything, it's just little bits of money. And until you become aware of it, you can't fill the holes in the bucket, which means that your everyday cash flow bucket never fills up, which means that you can't tip it over into your investment bucket. And in your investment bucket, you might have holes in it too, like strata fees and inefficient management fees. So you get the idea. Now, what I wanted to talk to you guys about was energy, okay? So your energy is just as important, if not more important, than finance, than money. So energy, when I talk about energy, I'm talking about your personal energy, so how vigorous and alive you feel. And that can be influenced by other people. So we have one bucket for that. We have one energy bucket for that. And there can be holes in that bucket, right? I've just been working on this, on filling the holes. Now, the example that I wanted to give you guys that I strongly encourage you to check out and sort out over the next, few days or whenever, because September's spring, we've got a full moon coming up, perfect time for you to get in and just get rid of some stuff and clear some things out. So things that can cause holes in your bucket, in your energy bucket. And this will actually give you back more energy, okay? But I'm talking about things that drain you. So things that are holes in your energy bucket are Facebook groups, which perhaps you don't follow them anymore and you don't even look at them, but you are still in there, right? So energetically, you are still in that group. If you do not want to be in that group, you need to remove yourself from that group. So go in there and get yourself out. Just click leave group. If you don't want to be in there because you're not in there every day reading stuff and contributing, then get out. And I had to do this. So there were a heap of groups that I really liked. I liked some of the stuff. I liked the pictures. Maybe I liked the info. Maybe I was in it because I felt like I had to be in it. I decided to get out of all that sort of stuff. Hey, Sharon. And really leave all those things behind. So that's my biggest thing in terms of refilling my energy bucket and stopping things from draining me. So energetically, you are still in a group. Even if you don't follow it, you have the notifications turned off. Get in there and leave the groups, right? Facebook is meant to be a social communication network for your family and your friends. Somewhere along the lines, we turned it into a business model, which is fine. But then there's also a lot of expectation and comparison and all this other bullshit around it. So just get in there and leave some things. The other thing is saved posts. So I had a lot of saved posts or saved videos or saved links. Again, it's an energy drain. Even though I wasn't looking, and I saved them with all intentions to go back and look at them again, right? But I was never going to go and look at them. I still haven't looked at them. Some of them I saved 4 years ago. Okay, unsave them. Clean up your social media. Instagram is the same thing. Unfollow people if you're not interested in their stuff. It's not about the number, it's about the energy and the vibe that it gives you, right? So really go in and tidy that stuff up. So I'm still working through removing friends from my personal Facebook profile, which is where you guys are watching this. I'm going through and tidying up things, and also looking at how long I spend on Facebook and what I actually do, and making sure that when I get off it, I feel lifted and inspired and not flat and feeling like I've just lost so many hours of my life, or wondering where my day's gone, because that's what was happening. So that's one big drain, right? It's meant to be a source of filling your bucket up, but it's a sucker. So get in there and clean that stuff out, declutter that, give it a good spring clean. The second thing is relationships. So it is okay for you to decide that you just don't need to talk to somebody anymore, or you just don't need to be there anymore, or clubs even, you know, this is another drain. So when and this is funny, but it's the membership cards, right? Again, there's something about humans that means that they feel like they need to be a part of something, which is great. But now is the time to be aware of what it is that you're a part of. Is it feeding you? Is it lifting you up? Is it filling up your bucket? Is it giving you energy, right? That sort of stuff. So you go to a place that only costs $5 to join the club, so you join the club. But then all of a sudden you get email, or maybe you get emails, or maybe you get something else. And then every year you get a membership renewal and you go, oh yeah, that's right, I better pay that $5, only $5. Well, that $5 adds up, and that $5 could be used for something else, right? So fill your bucket by getting rid of clubs that you no longer go to as well, and that you don't want to be a member of. You can go there and just, if you want to, and be a member of the club and interact, or you know, go there and enjoy some of the experiences there. But again, it's the same thing as the Facebook thing, right? Does it fill you up, and does it lift you up? And when you leave there, do you leave there happy and feeling good? Or do you leave exhausted? So really have a good look at that. Now, the other thing that I wanted to talk about in terms of your energy bucket, and this is probably around relationships, is have a really hard look at the relationships that you've got in your life and work out which ones drain you. Then you need to have a look at what you can do in terms of tools in your toolbox, or cutting it all together, working out what you can do to assist you and support you with your energy, right, through all of this. I can't believe I'm saying some of this stuff. So what you want to do with that side of things is have a really hard look at the relationships. Now, if they are ones that you aren't able to just cut, you aren't in a position where you can do that, or you don't want to, or you haven't evolved that far yet where you know that you can, then use techniques to assist you with the negative energy, okay? And negative energy just means it's when you feel flat. It's when you feel drained because you've had something to do with someone, and it would really suck if it was your workplace, right? And I am quite happy and blessed and grateful, and whatever other word I want to use, that I don't actually have to go into a workplace anymore. However, don't let that fool you. So even though I wasn't going into a workplace, I had allowed myself to be absorbed into that similar feeling, that sheep mentality, that whole have to do this, have to do that, rules and regulations and all those sort of things, by the work that I do, and the companies that I get involved with and stuff like that, and some of the teams that I was involved with. So again, it was just like a workplace relationship. So I was having a look at it and going, all right, what the hell is going on here? And things happened that really jerked me to have a look at those relationships. So that's what I did. And you can use really simple techniques, right? So for some of you, this might be a bit different. You're going to watch this. Actually, if you're my friend, you should know that everything in my life's a bit different anyway. But you can use saging and smudging, right? Get right into the old witchy stuff, hippie shit. If you like incense, then smell some incense. Oh, hey, ladies. Hey, everybody. I just noticed how many people were watching. Get into... I don't like incense because I don't like fake smells. So you can use sage. You can use tea tree. We live in Australia, right? If you don't live in Australia, then go find a native plant. Get yourself a branch of it and just break off a few leaves, and that's all you use, right? You just light it, and that's your sacred smoke that you use with the intention of clearing the energy, right? You want to raise your vibe, fuck everything else. You just want to feel good, right? So that's how you do it. That's how I do it anyway. I use tea tree essential oil. I use it as an oil because it's less offensive. And if I go into workplaces or I go into clubs or environments where I actually want to go but I don't feel like picking up anyone else's negative vibes or their bad mood, I use tea tree oil. I can't really walk in there and light up some tea tree in an abalone shell or something like that. You know, you're not allowed to smoke indoors on any level. So tea tree, couple of drops in your hand, rub it over your chest. Fantastic for that sort of stuff. It'll also help you with any sort of fungal infections that you might have. Now, I was sharing this morning about another Australian native plant called lemon myrtle, which is also known as Bacchausia citrodora. Same sort of thing. It's fabulous for cleansing toxic energy, negative energy. So there's a lot going on for us at the moment, especially out west. You know, it's dry, it's dusty, we don't have rain. You can choose to look at all of that side of things. But do whatever you can to protect your bucket, your energy bucket, and to add energy in. And the best way to do that is to fill the holes. I know I swore again then. So just fill the holes in your bucket. And the way you fill your holes in your bucket, get onto Facebook, leave the groups that you don't interact in. Leave them. You'll find them one day if you need to see them again. Unsave posts, really clean it all out, declutter it. And you don't have to do it all at once, just do it. You could probably do the same thing with your email actually, and a lot of people talk about that anyway. Unsubscribe or just get off emailing listens, things like that too. Or just don't even have an email address that you give to anybody. So you can do all that sort of stuff. Let go of all of the old stuff. Just get rid of it. Full moon coming up on Saturday. What does that mean? For those of you that don't know what that means, it means if you've got any new plants that you want to put into the ground, put them in now. You can also then build yourself up and wait for the new moon, which will come in a couple of weeks after it. So really start to learn about that cycle and how that can support you in growing your own garden and eating your own food. But also it means it's a perfect time to release stuff. So you might want to also remove plants or remove things from your life that no longer serve you and aren't meant to be a part of the journey. Whether you write their names down on a piece of paper, if they're people, or you write the situation down on a piece of paper, or you just write, okay, get all of your vomit out onto a piece of paper, and then on the full moon, which is on Saturday, like I said in Australia, burn it, safely burn it. Don't go burn a person, the house, the car, the whatever, burn the paper and light it, watch it go off in smoke, and just utilize that lunar energy to really flush stuff out that you don't need. And what you'll find is the first few times you do this, you might feel a little bit sluggish still and a bit weird, but that's okay because you're cracking open, you are becoming you're remembering stuff, and this is what we want, right? So I hope that you all have a fantastic day and it didn't freak too many of you out. Stiff shit if it did. Like I said, right, get out of Facebook groups, stop saving things, unfollow people, unfriend people. Feel free to do that sort of stuff. Cut relationships if you can cut relationships. If you can't cut physical relationships, then you need to look at tools that will protect you. Start to cleanse your area of negativity. You can use lemon myrtle, lemongrass, tea tree. There's a heap of plants or essential oils that you can use to really clean your space and lift your vibe, because that's the goal, right? The goal is to just feel good. Anyway, have an awesome day, guys. See ya.